Sorry, everybody, sorry. It's okay. Okay. Can I do this? I don't know. Should I invite people? Okay, let's see. Hallelujah. Okay, I have to start. Those of you who are not who are not logged in at the moment, feel free to revisit the recorded message or recorded live cast and watch it and listen to it and leave your comment, please. The song we just we're listening to is Cornerstone. My hope is built on nothing else but on Jesus, basically. We are told, our hymn says that Christ alone is the cornerstone, and by him the weak are made strong in the Savior's love. Cyril Okere, thank you for joining. And this is by that's his song rendition of the hymn. We are told that all other grounds are sinking sand, and that is becoming increasingly obvious in our day, in our time. God has only one answer for the problem that confronts us all, that confronts the world, and that is Jesus Christ. When the enemy comes like a flood, he raises a standard against him. So I invite everyone of us to ensure our life in the risen Christ. And that's the solution. That's the cure. That's the remedy. Okay, thank you very much. God bless you. Yes, thank you, Olainka. Thank you very much. Okay, I will start now, and those who join later, yes, they join later. My name is Reverend Cyril Okere, and this is the Sentinel, the media arm of Citygate Ministries International. So I will say good evening to every one of you, good morning if that applies to you, good afternoon, and for that matter, good night. God bless you. Right. In the past few weeks, I have been looking at and discussing on the theme of Christian or persecution of Christian. The persecution of Christian, or Christians rather, in different parts of the world. Now looking at it from different angles. Last week we dealt with the glory in persecution or glory in martyrdom. Of course, I said that we are expanding that concept of martyrdom, not just the kind of persecution that leads to death, but persecution in general. And there's an etymological reason why I'm doing that, or I did that. Because the word martyrdom or martyr share the same etymological root with witness. So a martyr is a witness, someone who witnesses, or with his lifestyle, not just in words, who attest to the veracity, the truthfulness, or the truth of his or her faith, and is ready not just to leave that out or to demonstrate the veracity of that claim of the profession by their lifestyle, but also, if need be, by their death. Okay, so when I talk about glory in martyrdom, I'm not just talking about those who died, but also those who believe, but then they're dead to themselves and embrace the higher agenda of the Savior. Okay, so we'll deal with that. Today is kind of, we are trying to tidy up, with the aim is to tidy up or tie up loose ends in the series. And I want to look at the title just to give us a focus: Triumphant in Death. Triumphant in Death. Okay, to start us with, let me just go through a few scriptures here just to kind of focus us. Revelation 12. Let me read that. Revelation 12. Okay, Revelation 12. We also want to pick on, that's about the war in heaven, where Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. Okay. I will just pick it up from verse 10. Verse 10, it says, "Then I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our God, and the power of his Christ have come." Hallelujah. Salvation and the strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ have come. It didn't say have died. It didn't say have died or have waned out, or is ebbing. He said they have come. For the accuser of our brethren who accused them before our God day and night has been cast down. Verse 11. And they, talking about the brethren, the saints, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they did not love their lives to the death. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let me just read 12. Therefore rejoice, O heavens, and you who dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil has come down to you, having great wrath. He's angry because he knows that he has a short time. He knows that the end has come for him. End of the rope. He knows. That's why he's unleashing everything in his arsenal against the church, against the people of God, and against the cause of righteousness. He knows. He's stupid, but not that stupid. He's aware that his time is short, and he's throwing everything he has in his arsenal. Okay, that's one. I'll go into some other scriptures, but let's just establish this. While concluding sometime in the last the previous broadcast, the very last one, last Sunday, in Acts, we looked at what happened in Acts chapter 7. We see how the risen and ascended Christ stood to receive the soul of his precious saint Stephen when he was being executed. Now, you begin to look at, in fact, when you read it, you will see the boldness of Stephen, his courage. I mean, he was just speaking in defense of, defending himself against the accusation leveled against him by, the enemies of the faith. And he was just, reviewing the Old Testament, just showing them that just where they're coming from, that a promise had been made, and this new movement, this faith in Christ, is a fulfillment of what had been promised. That of from Abraham down to David, and down even to the present age of his contemporaries, that they were waiting for the fulfillment of this promise, and he was making a good job of it. But suddenly he just turned and just became kind of how do I describe it? It's like he just turned up the heat and just began to berate them basically of their hard-heartedness, their stubbornness. It suddenly just switched, and they were gnashing their teeth. They were angry, and the Bible said that they looked at him, and the face appeared like an angel. The face appeared like an angel. Now, if you read the case of Moses, when he was in the mountain, he came down from the mountain after being with God, the face was shining to the point that the people could not look at his face. He had to veil his face to be able to interface with the people. Stephen, almost like the face was transfigured like an angel, and why? Because of what he saw. Because he did announce. He almost like running a commentary of what he saw. He saw the glory of God. He saw, Jesus, the resurrected Jesus, the one whose name they tried to wipe off the surface of the earth. He saw him sitting at he saw him actually standing. He saw the glory of God. He saw Jesus, standing. Right hand of God, standing. Jesus, who was supposed to be sitting, now standing. Why? Because precious in the sight of God is the death of his sins. He was eager. This man that stood for him in the presence of his enemies, that stood for him, in the face of death. He could not sit down to receive his soul. He stood up to receive him. And so when Stephen said, "No, Lord Jesus, receive my spirit," that's it. There was absence in the body, present with the Lord. That, you see, that shows two things. One, the fact that yes, Jesus, the way he received the people who he saints, who stood for him, to stand up for them, in the presence of God, in the presence of the Father and his holy angels, he said. But apart from that, this courage, this boldness, exemplified in Stephen and by Stephen, is it only about Stephen? No. That I believe that is the way, that is what happens to everyone, facing martyrdom, facing death, for their faith, who have been persecuted. There is something that makes them stand. There's something that makes them not give up. There's something that makes them refuse to, yield to pressure, even the threat of death. We've seen that in countless of saints from long time, I can't even remember. We've seen that like contemporary times, Christians who have been killed just because of their faith in Christ all over the world. We see that in the case of the reverend that was beheaded by Boko Haram in northern Nigeria, and some other people who were killed, the Coptic Christians in Egypt. We've seen that same boldness, that same thing. So this is not about personal heroics or personal stoicism. No, this is something. This is a grace of God that comes upon them at that moment. That moment where their life is on the line. To the glory of God. It's God's grace. It's God's reassuring presence. So what you see in Stephen's case is not just unique to Stephen. And I think it's Paul in Corinth, again, where he faced through some difficulties again. An angel appeared to him and told him, so look, listen, don't worry, nothing shall happen to you in this city. I have plenty of people in this city. The same God stood by him. So God does not leave his persecuted saints alone, by themselves. That's what I want to say. God does not leave them by themselves. He stands by them. Okay, that's that. Okay, let me just pick up a scripture to illustrate what I mean. I want to look at Hebrews. Okay, Hebrews. You look at chapter. Okay, let's see to Hebrews 23. Talking about Moses. So before I read that, just to think about this, the thought I said that this courage is not just sheer bravado, not I won't cry, not stoicism, okay, not heroics, not man up, try to be a man, don't shed tears, just enjoy it. No, it's not that. It is the endurance, that steadfastness, that's ability to just not stick to your faith and not give up. It's as a result of the revelation. It's as a result of the assurance of the concrete conviction, the solid conviction that such people have of the Lord, of the Master, of what He's done for them, of His redemption plan, of the fact that they are saved, of the hope they have beyond death. Because really, who wants to die, really? Who wants to die? But if it comes to it, what will keep you going and keep you standing is what you know. It is what you know. It's the revelation that these people have. Okay, let me go to Hebrews 11. I want to read something about Moses, first of all, and then we'll go down to some verses below. Verse 23, talking about Moses. It says, by faith, Moses, when he was born, okay, when he was born, was hidden 3 months by his parents because they saw he was a beautiful child and they were not afraid. Know that they were not afraid of the king's command. They will not bow to the king's command. Okay, verse 24. By faith, Moses, when he became of age, refused. He refused. He said no. Hallelujah. Today in church, I think yesterday was a prayer meeting before the church started. The brother leading the prayer referred to the scripture that says in Titus, I think, it says that the grace of God has appeared to all men, teaching us that denying ungodliness, in other words, a version says, the grace of God teaches us to say no to sin, to us to say no to ungodliness. Yeah. So Moses refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He chose, choosing rather to suffer affliction, to suffer affliction with the people of God. He's not into self-harm, yeah? He's not into, it doesn't derive pleasure from pain, no. But he chose rather, instead, if it comes to it, to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the passing pleasures of sin. Esteeming in his calculation, he reckoned the reproach of Christ to be greater. So it's to be of greater riches than the treasures in Egypt. That is calculation. That is, what shall they profit a man? This is some kind of arithmetic processing here. What shall it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul? Jesus asked. So he, in his calculation, in his understanding, he esteemed the reproach of Christ to be greater riches, of greater riches than the treasures in Egypt. For he looked to, he faced, forward to the reward. The Bible talks about Jesus who endured the things he endured. He endured the cross, he endured the shame thereof. How? Because he set his mind, his focus on the reward. And we're told to look unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, our pioneer. We look unto him. So looking unto him, having a revelation of him, focusing on him, gives us the power to endure, to run the race to the end, even if it means death. We'll triumph in it. By faith, verse 27, he forsook Egypt, not fearing, he did not fear the wrath of the king, for he endured. He stood, he took his stand and he remained standing. He did not wince, he did not flinch. He endured as seeing him who is invisible. Yes, he saw something. The thing he saw, as a saying in different languages, including mine, said you see a bird that's flying and dancing, to some kind of rhythm. That the drummer, the one that's beating the drummer that is giving beating that rhythm, the bush, something like that, difficult to translate at times. But there is, yes, as they say in English, he was dancing to the beat of a different drummer. The drummer is invisible, but he knew him, he saw him. It's as a result of what they saw, what they see. Okay, let me move away from that. Let's look at again some other guys. I'm saying that this boldness and courage and triumphant endurance in the face of death is not just exclusive to a few people, And I gave an example of Stephen. I gave an example of Moses. I mean, he did not die, he was not killed, like Stephen, but he stood and he was ready to go through it to the very end because of the revelation of he who is invisible. Praise God. Now we'll go down to verse 35, and in this case I'd like to go to amplified version, to see the way it renders the passage. Verse 35. Yeah. Okay. It says, come on. All right. Talking about people who gain great testimony through faith. 35 says, women received back their dead by resurrection, and others were tortured to death by faith. Yeah, they were tortured to death, refusing to accept release offered on the condition of denying their faith. In Nigeria, that reminds me of Leah Sharibu, the young girl who stayed in the hands of the wicked terrorists because she refused to accept release offered on the condition of denying her faith. Reverend Anthony, the same thing, refused to deny his faith, even at a knife point, so that they would be resurrected to a better life, because they know that resurrection is coming. They know that this death, the physical death, is not what we should be afraid of. Yeah, that there's a resurrection that that comes afterwards, and so they were looking forward to that. They refused, to be released, on the condition of denying of their faith. All right. And others experienced the trial of mockings and scourgings amid torture and even chains and imprisonment. They were stoned to death. They were sawn in two. They were lured with tempting offers to renounce their faith. They were put to death by the sword. They went about wrapped in skins of sheep and goats, destitute, oppressed, and cruelly treated, people of whom the world was not worthy. You see that? The world was not worthy of them. It's not them not being worthy of the world. The world was not worthy of them. The world does not deserve them. Wandering in deserts and mountains and living in caves and holes in the ground. Now, see at the beginning of the chapter, we talk about some positive outcomes of faith. Fantastic, victories. People escaping the sword, escaping from flames of fire, mighty things, great miracles by faith in the same God. Now, here from 35, we start reading the people who actually received, the flip side of faith, the flip side of it all. Still by faith, they prepared to die. They were destitute. They were deprived. They were, ridiculed. They went through things. They didn't even live like in a natural human habitat. They lived in caves and now some of us, particularly some. Okay, I don't want to label anybody. Some of us who only see faith and in terms of prosperity and good things of life, take note. Some of us will look at those people and say, they don't have faith. That's why they were living in caves, and look at how they dressed. In a man's suit, they dress in skins of sheep and goats, and totally destitute. Where is your faith? They will say in their arrogance, ignorant arrogance. The word of God says that they accepted such lifestyle because of their faith. They decided to be impoverished. They were ready to be impoverished. They were ready to live in caves and in holes in the ground, to live just as outcasts of the earth, of civilization, to be stoned, to die, even when when offer of release or the offer of relief, came, they rejected such offers if that meant they were faith. These people, they are the heroes of faith. They are among the heroes of faith. Okay, let's not despise them because of our ignorance and arrogance. Okay, I just wanted to say that. Okay, going back to where we are, let me see. Let's see. Yeah. Hallelujah. Good. So that is what I'm talking about. That is what we are talking about. Another scripture here. So this courage, this boldness shown by these people. Yeah, like we read in Revelation, it says that they overcame the enemy. They defeated the enemy by the blood of the Lamb. The blood of Jesus is the antidote, the universal antidote to everything the devil has, the devil throws at us. But also by the word of their testimony. And they say that they love not their life, even unto death. They don't cling unto their life, even unto death. Yeah. They did not love their lives to the death. You are ready to drop it? If that's what it's called. Right. This kind of boldness, I said it's not personal stoicism. Okay, note that. It's not because they are tough people. They are, they are sons. No. But also we know that the Bible says, teaches us that they have this courage in the face of what should make them wins naturally. This courage, this boldness, this steadfastness in the face of persecution and death is a sign of their salvation and the assurance of that salvation for those who are saved, of course, but for those who are persecuting them, those who are on the other side, it's also a sign. It's a sign of their perdition. It's a sign. If these people are really, really sure of what they are saying, if what they are saying is to them is so true that they are ready to die, then where am I? What happens to me? If what they are saying is true, then and they are ready to die for it, where does that put me? Basically, that's what they are asking themselves. We see that in Philippians chapter 1, verse 28 and 29. I read. It says, "And not in any way," we say we should not be terrified, and not in any way terrified by your adversaries. No matter how many AK-47s, AK-49s they bring, no matter how the sharpness of their sword, no matter what they bring against us, it says we should not be terrified by the adversaries. Which to them, the fact that we're not terrified, the fact that we're not afraid, to them is a proof of perdition. It's a proof that they are on the losing camp. They're in the losing camp. It is a sign to them that they are losing out. Remember, Saul, why do you persecute me? It is hard for you to kick against God. It is hard for you to keep hitting your head on a brick wall. It is the head that will split open. It is a sign that they are on the losing side. And that sign, it says that, which is to them is a proof of perdition, but to you of salvation. It's a sign that that we are saved. And that sign is from God. It's a sign from God to them that they are losing, and it's also a sign from God to reassure us that we are saved. Therefore, it has been granted on behalf of Christ, not only to believe in him, but also to suffer for his sake. These people, they count it as a privilege. We read it in the case of Moses. He saw the suffering, he's identifying with the suffering of the people of God to be or to be what more, which is more glory, more of a privilege than all the wealth of Egypt, than the title of Prince of Egypt. And he wasn't mad. There are some things he knew, there are things that he saw, there are things that he was assured of. Okay, let me quickly get towards the end. I did mention last week, and I want to say it again, that there is also, we are not left at the mercy of the enemy and his people, so that they will just kill and do whatever they want to do. No. There is a sovereign control. They are also subject to sovereign control of God. There's a limit to how far they can go in their wicked acts against the church of God, against Christians. Revelation tells us, Revelation 6:9-10 tells us of the beheaded saints who are calling for vengeance for their spilled blood. I want to bring something out here now. They were asking how long, oh Lord, do we have to wait for our blood to be avenged? And they were assured, they were told to wait a bit longer until the number of fellow saints who are destined for martyrdom is complete. There is a number beyond which they kill no more. And God knows the number of those who would pay the ultimate price with their life. So the number. The persecutors and the terrorists, they are not in control. God is. So no matter how much fire, smoke, and hate they breathe in the church and the Christians, there is a point beyond which they can kill no more. In other words, even in their wicked bloodletting, they are bracketed and caged in. No, they're caged in God's sovereignty, God's power, God's wisdom, God's plan and purposes. They're not in charge. I always say that this matter, they are not dead. They are not dead. For in God they live. He's the God of the living. Okay? They are not dead. And you're still speaking. They are speaking from, now, it's interesting. The Bible says that they are speaking from under the altar. Why the altar? Of all places to be. They were speaking, my God. Think about this. They were speaking from under the altar in heaven. Why the altar? Why not on the glassy sea? Why not even whatever, the street of gold or whatever? No, they are speaking from the altar. Altar is a place of sacrifice. God was spilled, yes, wherever they were slaughtered and killed, but their blood was accepted on the altar in heaven. If you understand what I'm saying. The Bible says that the life of this soul, or the life of the man, the life of the person, the life of the creature is in the blood. Their blood was spilled on account of their faith on earth. But their soul live on. And we hear them speaking from under the altar in heaven. Because as from God's perspective, as long as God, the way God sees it, that their blood was sacrificed on account of their faith, and God received that sacrifice for precious in the sight of God is the death of his servants. I'm not saying that their blood, same as Jesus' blood. No. The Bible talk about the kind of death that Peter would die to glorify God with. We're talking about him, glorify God either in his life or by his death. Think about it. I don't even have enough words to describe what I'm feeling about the fact that they are crying from under the altar, which is a place of sacrifice. Okay, I don't want to belabor that, so I don't get straight into something else. All right. Okay, just to conclude, so we see that yes, God stands with his people, always, never forsaking them, even at the point of death. And this truth, this assurance, is not just a theological position or doctrine. They people, in their affliction, they sense God's presence more than ever. The peace of God, kind of comes upon them heavily to go through whatever they have to go through. God says, if you go through the fire, go through the water, he's with you. God, like the fourth man, as we said, that is the fourth man in the fire. He's with them to the very end. And when they die, he receives them promptly, absent in the body, present with the Lord. Promptly, and we saw that in the life of the case of Stephen, when he stood up to receive him. No basis for fear. There's no basis to renounce one's faith. There's no basis to be agitated or to even, be terrified at the anticipation of persecution or martyrdom, for that matter. So no. And so that this boldness is not what we generate, from our psychological makeup. It's as a result of the assurance we have that God is faithful to the end and his presence. But it also says it's a sign from God to those who perish, to those who are persecuting, who are on the enemy's camp, who are against Christ. It's a sign for them that why are these people? It's illogical. Why are they? Some of them read the story of Christians in the first century or thereabout who were thrown into lions' dens and they were singing as they were thrown to lions. And the Father even touched the heart of some of the people doing this. And they gave their life to Christ. It happens. Even among these jihadists, Islamic jihadists, some of them are getting converted, seeing the boldness of Christians in the face of death. What can you threaten somebody who knows that, what are you going to threaten somebody with who knows that there's a better resurrection, a better life, sooner or later, that they'll participate in? So it's a sign for them. It's also a sign that, yes, we are saved. Okay, so no fear. Now, so what do we then do? No? What about those of us who are alive? So those of us who are alive. I remember watching the video of one pastor, I think in Colombia, somewhere, who has about 4 daughters. He was killed, gruesomely murdered, and his death brought kind of, the ministers and churches together. It resulted in them coming together in unity and just praying together and just, standing by each other. And I remember the daughters of this man, they went to the grave side and just pay respect to the memory of their dad. And one of them said something. It says that sometimes it is harder to live for him than to die for him. It is harder to live for Christ than to die for Christ. Yeah. We don't have to be facing death to live for him. As I said before, martyrdom is about its weakness, the same word. So we who are alive, we live as if we know, recording that we are dead to our own selves. Our alive only Him. Like Paul said, that he wants his body to glorify God, whether by living or by dying. As we live in the body, we present our bodies a living sacrifice to God. The Bible tells us in Romans 12. You know, we present our body a living sacrifice to God. That God will use us the way He sees fit. We don't live for ourselves. We live as if we are dead. If you know what I'm saying, it's not to know we're dead to our old self. So as we see the persecution raging and in different forms and levels, it is not the time to dim our lights and be afraid. The Bible says that we should not be afraid of their persecution or be intimidated. It is time to fire on and press on. We also need to be ready, as we don't know what we'll be facing in the near future, or if and when we will be called upon to pay the ultimate sacrifice for our faith. When and if that time comes, God is faithful to keep us from falling, according to Jude 1:24, and to make us stand, according to Romans 14:4. In the meantime, we must continue living for Him and to identify with the suffering saints all over the world. There are organizations, Open Doors, CSW, I think it's called, Christian Solidarity Worldwide, and many others in different nations that identifying with Christians who are suffering persecution. I will encourage everyone to just visit their websites and find out more and support them as much as you can in prayer, in finance, in advocacy. We stand by those who are going through difficulty so that they know they're not alone. Whatever may be the outcome, thank God for the release of people like Aisha Bibi, I think, from Pakistan. After many years, yes, some people are being released. Thank God. Some people are not. Thank God too. Just as we pray that God's presence will be with them. Let me read Philippians 1:20-21. It says, Paul says, I read that before. I eagerly expect and hope that I will in no way be ashamed. No, we will not be ashamed, we will not be disappointed. But we will have complete boldness, so that now, as always, Christ will be exalted in my body, whether by life or by death. For to me, to live is Christ, and to die is gain. Okay. Yes, we do not fear the person who only can destroy the body, but is not capable of touching the soul. The only person we have to fear is the one who has the power to destroy both the body and the soul in hell. Resolve and keep on living for Him day by day. Day by day, it will be easy then that when we face the ultimate, or when we face whatever level of persecution is, it's easy then for us to stand our ground and not give up and not give in. Okay? But if we don't live for Him in the little matters, day by day, living in the consciousness of His Lordship and His presence, then it will be difficult. And that's why we hear of people who deny their faith. Okay? We have to live for Him as if we are dead to ourselves, because yes, we reckon ourselves as dead unto we are dead to sin, dead to ourselves. The old man is crucified. I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. So the life that I live in flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God, who loved me and gave His life for me. That is Galatians 2:20. This, yes. So that's it. May I just at this time, as I conclude, thank and greet Okere, Christy Okere, Reverend Divine. God bless you. Hey, Reverend Manuel Olushola King. God bless you. Right. I think that's it. Yeah, those of you who missed the beginning, feel free to just visit and share, please. This concludes this series on persecution of Christians. I remain Reverend Cyril Okere, and this is the Sentinel. God bless you. Have a great, great week ahead. Over. Bye bye.